Hi, everybody. There's nothing to join here. Sorry. He hasn't given me the code for that. So, this is Neil. I'm Neil. This is Neil's Meals. Tonight is a We Need Cookies episode, so I'll be baking cookies. This is an interesting recipe. It was one of my grandmother's recipes, and it's a little vague. So, there's a lot of open to interpretation in it. This is a printout that I have printed of it. I'll see if you can see it here. No, you can't even see that there's print there. No, I guess that's not going to work. This is the whole recipe. 1 cup of brown sugar, 1/2 cup butter, 1 cup molasses, 1 egg beaten, 1 teaspoon baking soda, spices, and 4 cups of flour. Chill, roll, and cut. Those are all the instructions. No, nothing telling us what temperature to bake them at, or should we? Thank you, Dark Passenger, for watching me for 5 streams straight. Someone in my position, that's a great deal of help to me, and I really appreciate it. So yes, time, temperature, and what spices are open to interpretation. If you ever have to guess with a cookie, a good guess is 350 degrees. Pretty much anything, really. All right. So we're going to have a bowl. Let's do that. So we have our bowl, and we're going to use our mixer because I don't feel like fooling with it. Yeah, that's right. All right, so we'll plug this in here. And we're going to put in some butter that I've let come to temperature. So it's reasonably soft. There's the butter. That's 1 stick or 1/2 cup of butter. And we need 1 cup of brown sugar. So let's get a cup of brown sugar. I like to do this over a paper towel because I can pour it back in the bag if I need to. This is not the right brown sugar. Sorry about that. I needed... Where did it go? Oh. Now I know why I grabbed the wrong one. Because when I put it back last time, I put it in the wrong place. Sorry about that. So we're getting a cup of brown sugar. I have light brown sugar. Since this calls for molasses, I probably wouldn't use dark brown sugar. It's 1 cup of brown sugar there. We'll brush our hands off into this. And take this and pour it back in the bag. However, we seem to have gotten some of it on the counter, so I'll just brush this up. Throw it on. Let me just do this. Okay, so we have a cup of brown sugar, half a cup of butter. We're going to cream those with the mixer. So you just kind of want to push into the butter a little bit. Just enough to break it up a little. And you use the mixer to break up the butter. And evidently the sugar too. Scrape down the bowl a little bit. Make sure I don't have any just plain butter in it. All right. So we'll give this a little more time with our mixer. I do that just to sort of clean off the beaters. All right, so now we need a cup of one cup of molasses. If you can find it, chances are what you'll find in the store is this. Grandma's molasses. It is what you would normally find in any store. I went out looking for, I was told with this recipe I should look for light molasses. And light molasses is, basically there are 3 boils of molasses. The first one would be called light molasses. The second one would just be like medium or mild molasses, I think. And the third one is blackstrap. And blackstrap is not very sweet and pretty bitter. So that may not be what you want to go with. But it looks like I only have that much of this. Maybe I can use a little spatula and get some more out of it. I think that's all I'm getting out of here. So now we'll do a little bit of this. This is not as good of a molasses, but it will work in this application. So we got a cup there. And I want to rinse off the area that it goes down on, because if you don't, it will glue this lid on. All right. So we've done that. Now we will dump this into our stuff here. And this is nice because I can just push it all out and then take a little spatula and get it all off. And you're not trying to scrape out a jar. All right. So we'll just take this out of the way for now, and I'll put this in the sink. All right. Now we have to mix this in. So we'll mix this in. I was going to scrape down the bowl again. All right. right, so we've done that. It does call for the egg beaten. Oh. Hi, Penguin. How are you? I didn't see your chat there. Welcome in. I'm making basically what amounts to a molasses spice cookie. And I'm putting in the egg. Called for the egg to be beaten, but I'm sure my grandmother was stirring it by hand and not using a mixer. So I'm just going to use the mixer. There, it's beaten. So we just stir all that in till it goes in. So all this is right now is the butter, the brown sugar, and the molasses, and the egg. So now we're going to first I'm going to, it doesn't call for this, but I have trouble making a cookie that I don't at least put a little vanilla in. So I'll put in that much. All right. So it does say spice. We haven't gotten to that yet. But we are going to put in a teaspoon of baking soda, spices, and 4 cups of flour. So you know me, I'm going to go out and get my sifter. I'll push this up here for a moment. And I'll get a piece of wax paper. And the reason I use wax paper is just to catch what I put in here. So I'm going to put in the flour first. And I have a cup over here. Yep, I have a cup over here. So we'll do one, two, three, hey Jane Henry, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Thanks for coming into my stream. I appreciate it. I appreciate actually everyone who comes into my stream, but I've seen you before. All right, so that's 4 cups of flour. No, I didn't weigh them because I know that there's no way on earth that my grandmother ever weighed anything. And we need a teaspoon of baking soda. So we'll add a teaspoon of baking soda. She wasn't a math teacher, she was a history teacher. So, and then for spices, I'm going to do sort of a classic, or what I think is classic. Oh, welcome Digifox, or Digifox. So I'm going to go with a couple teaspoons of cinnamon. Or maybe I did a teaspoon and a half. I don't remember. There's one. Put in that much. All right, and then I'm going to put in 1 teaspoon and a little less than a half of ginger. Got some nutmeg. I like to use a whole nutmeg. I don't buy the ground nutmeg. I have a little grater here, and I just do that. You don't want to use too much. So I'd say that's enough. Maybe a little more. Okay, that's enough. And I don't super love cloves, but I will put a little bit in. But it's going to be a little less than 1/8 of a teaspoon because I think cloves are strong and they can overpower things. That's my opinion, though. All right, so I'm going to put about that much clove in it. Not very much. All right. Put these over here. And now we'll just put some of this in here. And then mix it in. Here, I'll move that out of the way. So, just sift the flour. And the reason I use a sifter is because it doesn't seem to go everywhere for me. All right. So we put some in, we'll put some more in. You don't want to over stir it, so. And then all right, and then we will pour this through into it too. And we'll mix this now. The reason I run it up is to get the most off of it I can get off. So I'm going to finish this up with this spatula here. And in my grandmother's terse instructions, I didn't even do this right exactly. Or I wasn't thinking about this right, because I was thinking I needed to roll this out. I should stop here and say something. So when you think about cookies, I would say that there's sort of three main types of cookies. There's actually a fourth, but I don't know if it's a main category. You have drop cookies, and everything I've made so far has pretty much been a drop cookie, where you drop the dough on the cookie sheet and that's it. I did do peanut butter cookies and rolled those into little balls and mushed them, but I'd still sort of put them there. You have what are called refrigerator cookies. This is a refrigerator cookie, where you're going to take it and chill it and roll it into a shape and then slice it and bake it. Kind of like the cookie dough you buy in the store, in the tube. And then what I would say is that the third type is some kind of dough that you probably are going to chill and you're going to roll out with a rolling pin and cut. And there are other types than those three types. I mean, there are, like with butter cookies, you might put them into a pastry bag and squeeze them out on the baking tray. All right, so we have this dough. And the only problem with this cookie is that we're going to have to wait for this to chill. But hopefully it will chill quickly. And I'll put this on it to keep it, from drying out. If I can get it to stick to this bowl. Okay. Then I'll put this in the refrigerator. We'll let that chill, but while I'm doing that, I'll get out some baking trays, so I have them ready. Trying to grab that. All right. Put this over here. We'll get out some baking trays. All right, so if you got here later into it than when I said, this recipe is very vague. This is one of my grandmother's recipes. Spiced cookies. The whole recipe is 1 cup of brown sugar, packed, half cup butter, 1 cup molasses, 1 egg beaten, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, spices, just whichever ones, I guess, and 4 cups of flour, and chill, roll, and cut. So we have no temperature and we have no time. But I sort of fibbed to y'all because through the magic of having made one of these yesterday, I have the dough ready. So I'll just get a little board. Yes, it's magic. Through the magic of having made this yesterday. Okay, so I will admit to something. I didn't even properly follow my grandmother's instructions for this because it said to chill and then roll. And I rolled this in saran wrap. All right, I have this non-stick knife I'm going to try to use. So I'm going to cut them. Well, we'll cut this end piece off. And we'll just make it one of them, right? And I'm just going to cut them about that thick. And they are not going to cooperate with me probably very much, but it's fine. They may not have a great shape, but they'll sort of let us know what we're doing right or wrong. Oh, and by the way, this recipe is really big, so this is only half of that recipe. But there is a good thing about these. You could keep this dough in your refrigerator like this, rolled up, for about a week, I would say, or you could freeze it. You could freeze a roll of this dough, and it would probably keep pretty well with what's in it. All right. I'm not sure you could get these any less than, any thinner than this. All right. So I'd say we have enough of those in there right now. Let me wash my hands because this stuff is a little sticky. I'm not exactly sure how sweet these are going to be. So what I'm going to do, if I can get my hands dry, is I've got a little sugar here. I'll move these over here so you can see them. So I've sliced these out. They're probably not as round as they should be. I could have used something like floss if I had some, and I'm going to just sprinkle a little sugar on them. Just because I think it might help. All right, so that's a little bit of sugar. And I'm going to put these in the 350-degree oven. And I'm going to set the timer for 10 minutes, and then I'll check them. And I think what I'll do here, if I can get it off, is I'll roll this back up and put it back in the refrigerator. I'm just rinsing a couple things off here. All right. So while those are baking, I'm thinking about, like, will these be as sweet as I would like them? The possibility is yes, because my grandmother was a sweet cook from what I know. Sadly, she passed away when I was 3, so I don't super remember her. But my sister does, and she's been the one sort of giving me these recipes. And so this is one I thought I would try just for the challenge, just to see how it came out. And a spice cookie is good this time of year. It's sort of those fall. I mean, I could have probably hyped this up more and said it was a pumpkin spice cookie, but there's no pumpkin in this. I guess you could go that direction. But I think that this will be good. Spices and cinnamon, yes. So, like I said, I'm not sure yet. It might come out that way. I won't know until they're done. And that's kind of why I didn't cut the rest of that roll, is I want to kind of see what they're like and taste one. Like, maybe I could have just baked one off and just try to decide if, like, the little bit of sugar is enough, or if it. Sometimes I've seen cookies like this and they put, like, drizzle something over them, like a really simple, like, milk icing. I'm hoping that it's sort of got that ginger snap kind of texture. But I've never made a ginger snap, so I'm not sure. I don't, and it's funny, I didn't think I liked ginger snaps for a long time. Because they always seemed a little spicy to me. And what I never realized is that they were putting a bit of cayenne in them to sort of, so they could use less ginger. Okay. What I have done differently, though, is probably over this way, which to me looks the opposite, but it is on this hand. I've put a large monitor that I've made the chat pretty big so I can see it. So I'm not, sort of staring at the laptop screen as much. It really stuck to this board, though. Like, see how bad it stuck to this board? Here, we'll wipe that off on the knife. Maybe for any more I do, I'll put a piece of wax paper on the board. I'm excited, though, because I like a good spice cookie. I like a good spice anything. And these are sort of what I would put into a pumpkin pie. So, I mean, well, they're sort of just the classic, sort of baking spices in the United States. Got about 5 minutes. Take a look. They're starting to look good. I might have picked the right amount of time. You know what I should do is I should unplug this. I should move this here, and I should get out a rack. So we'll put out this rack. And I'll get another one out. And have that one ready. Sort of depends on how these turn out, how many I make. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Do 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 do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Do 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 do. I guess I probably really didn't fool anybody, though, with my sort of decoy of having to wait for the stuff to chill. But I do recommend that you do, if you plan to make this, that you do chill it before you roll it, because it's very sticky. I had to sort of use saran wrap to make it work. I'm starting to smell them, though. That's usually a good sign. They look kind of gingerbready, kind of, but like different. Food prep is serious business. It can be, yes. I mean, a lot of stuff that I don't super prepare for, I just go and cook it. I just chop the vegetables when I need them. Because I don't think you can chop onions and they stay very good. Like, you can, cut one in half and sort of wrap it and put it in a bag and use it. If you use it in a couple days, it's usually okay. But after that, they start to get soft and they start to smell weird. I've never tried to do it with garlic. I guess you could cut carrots or celery or bell pepper. I mean, carrots and celery, you can pretty much cut them and put them in a little water. (21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now it's going to chatter at me. All right. We'll hit the timer and we'll take them out. I think they might be done. It's hard to tell. They're set around the edge. I'm going to give them another minute. Because I think they might need a little color. This is my UV glove. There are many UV gloves, but this one is mine. They actually work pretty well for one of those as seen on TV things. I'm not endorsing or endorsed by them. I don't even know if that company is still a company. I do sort of miss, like, we don't have cable anymore. And I do sort of miss the infomercials because they were so ridiculous. Unfortunately, so many of them have turned into gambling or some kind of weird health thing. It's not weird products like Ron Popeil's rotisserie machine. Well, I don't want to overbake these, so I would say that probably gave them enough time. And here, I'll put these on this mat here, and y'all can see them. And so they rounded out a little bit. They certainly grew a little bigger. They sort of have that ginger snap top where it cracks. I think they'll probably retract as they cool. Sky Rizzy, that's right. I watched somebody who fixes old televisions, and he, that's not the right one. I wanted this one. But I'll sit down so you can see my face. He likes to use infomercials because it's usually not copyrighted. And but he'll use commercials, and he just goes off on any of those medications that they describe in a commercial. Advertising for drugs in a commercial is relatively new. Prior to about the year 2000, you couldn't really do it other than to say the name of the drug and to consult your doctor about it. And if you ever want to see something of 90s psychedelia, go and look up, there's a Claritin ad that was insane. And all it just kept saying basically was Claritin is Claritin. Claritin is wonderful. Claritin is Claritin. But now they allow you to say a whole lot more on it. The lighting does wonders for the cookies. Well, thank you. They actually are a little brighter there than they are in person. But they're very much of a ginger snap color. I think the thinner ones might be better. I'm not sure the thick ones. Yes, this is the first time we were using this camera. We've managed to avoid the GoPro this evening. Let's see if I can get these to come off onto the rack. I mean, they came out as nice, good-sized cookies. Well, I mean, to be fair, I like a big cookie, so. Can you tell I like cookies? Since I make them every week, and I look like this. All right. And we'll cool these, and then we'll try one. And then we'll decide, you know, if these need anything or not. They came off pretty easy, and they seem to have set up well. I'll put this over here to cool off in the breeze of the air conditioner. Yeah, that's what they look like. They're still a little too soft to do anything with. Sorry about that squeak. Hey, Zab. Thanks for coming in. So, if you're just coming in, this is what we're doing. Oh, I'll let you know. So this is a cookie recipe that was my grandmother's, and her cookbook was sadly had liquid poured on it, and ink ran, and the pages stuck together because it was just a 3-ring notebook. No, not a 3-ring notebook, a spiral notebook. But she did transcribe some recipes, and this is one of them. But it was pretty vague. Spice cookies, 1 cup of brown sugar, half a cup of butter, 1 cup of molasses, 1 egg beaten. I didn't beat the egg, but I used a mixer. Spices, so it's up to you to decide what that means. 4 cups of flour, and the only instructions were chill, roll, and cut. So it's a refrigerator cookie that you would roll and, slice ones off of it. Well, no, I mean, so one thing about recipes that's a little different is that people used to know what to do, right? Recipes didn't used to tell you everything. Originally, recipes were just a list of ingredients. And if you got any sort of indication of what pan it would go into, how you should prepare that pan, what temperature, you didn't really get any temperature contribution to a recipe probably until the 20s or the 30s of last century, when regulated temperature control came into fashion. Before that, people would say something like bake in a slow oven, bake in a medium oven, bake in a fast or very hot oven. And that just, meant, sort of basic temperatures. Bake until done, right? So this is not uncommon, and I assume that, she wrote this, so she knew what the spices were. I have an educated guess on what spices go into a spice cookie, a spice cake, or, some sort of spiced custard pie. So I went with those. That is the first batch. I'm waiting for them to cool to taste them to see how they came out, to see if they got done enough, and to see if maybe I need to do, if they're sweet enough, basically, or do I need to add a little more sugar than this to the top, or think of some kind of glaze. Are these... Well, they're cool enough to be solid. Let's break one apart here. So they're chewy in the middle. I think these would come out sort of with a snap after they're cooled completely. Maybe these could have stayed in there a little longer. Although I don't know. When they're totally dry or totally cool, they might be fine.
You didn't tell me.
Well, I didn't know until I just tried one. Here. I guess try that piece.
Yeah, it does taste like a ginger snap. Kind of. Yeah, it's not bad.
I think these thicker ones probably could go back in, though. That one was thinner.
Maybe you should try and cut them thinner.
I can try that. It's not super easy to cut.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, your new chat monitor looks good.
Yeah, it makes it nice and easy to see.
Yeah.
They are not chewy right now. Well, you know, I played a trick on them because I mixed the dough up and then just said it had to chill, so we would have to wait for it to chill. And then I pulled one out that I made yesterday. Through the magic of making one yesterday. All right. I'm just going to take one of these bigger ones here, and I just want to break it open and see what it looks like. Yeah, so these I think could have used a little more time. In fact, I'm going to take the thicker ones here.
I thought I would take a behind-the-scenes picture.
Oh, yeah. They do have a really good flavor, though. It's like spicy, but it's not too spicy. I don't think that any one spice overpowers. Yeah, I just think those could use some more time. That one is thinner. What are you, taking pictures of me?
Yeah.
Probably would have been better if I looked at the camera.
No, I wanted it like you're on the set.
Oh, okay. Well, so what spices did I use? I used about 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, maybe a little less. About a little less than a teaspoon and a half of ginger, and I did some nutmeg. You don't usually want to do a lot of nutmeg. And maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon of cloves. I think cloves are really strong, so I don't like to use too many. Well, those are good enough, I think, that I will put a piece of wax paper on this board if I don't tear it all in half. What the hell? I'll put a piece of wax paper on this board. Yeah, nutmeg is great. I like to use it. I like to use it with some vegetables. I think it goes really well with carrots. In any kind of a cream sauce, I think it's pretty good. All right. Okay. So we'll put those on that. I don't want to push these other ones too far past, so let me set this over here. All right. So these are ones I put in back in the oven because I thought they were not quite done. Just sort of to, I guess, dry them out a little bit. We'll let those sit for a minute and then we'll test one of those. I'm going to put this pan over here. I think they're good enough though. I don't think they need a lot. I think a little sugar on the top helps, but I think sort of a little sugar on the top of any cookie helps. These aren't hot. I don't know why I'm doing that. All right. So let me get the other log. All right. So I've rolled them up in saran wrap and let them chill overnight. Let's see if I can figure out where the I just sprinkled a little sugar on them. All right. Well, it's funny because, like, Jason asked me what I'd been up to last night when he looked into the refrigerator this morning. This dough is really sticky though. probably would have worked better on parchment paper. All right. Let me wash my hands because I've been handling that dough and it's sticky. I think the big problem with teleportation is they probably won't get that energy problem with it. So I'm going to just sprinkle a little, granulated sugar on top of these. Just enough to give them sort of a little sweetness. And we'll put these in here. And I think I put those in for 10 minutes, but then made some then put some back in. So let's try these for 12 minutes. All right, and I should put this. All right. Yeah, I don't know that I would lose a finger for just a cookie. In fact, you could probably find someone where you live that makes cookies similar to this. Actually, I could just leave this here. So yeah, I think these are pretty good. I think these might have cooled long enough to maybe try one. Oh yeah, that's better. These will be really good when they're cool. Take one of those.
Why, hello.
The top and the bottom have gotten more set. Mm-hmm. So when they cool, they'll probably be ginger snappy.
Yeah.
They're not super gingery.
They're not very gingery, and they're not like you were saying earlier, like how ginger snaps can be a little spicy, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But they are pleasant.
Thank you.
Yeah, I might have gotten you that shirt. I'm not sure.
Probably.
I think these are good. I think this might be a winner. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I like them.
Definitely sort of a Christmassy kind of cookie. In fact, this dough is probably too sticky for this, but what you could do, if you could get it flat, and you could... No, I think I would just make them like this. Part of the reason that you do something like this is that it's easy. You know, you pre-make the dough, and it can stay in the refrigerator for a few days. And then when you need them, you slice them off. I would probably, after it had chilled... Well, I can guarantee you the wrong move is to try to roll it up before it's chilled. Because that's what I did. Oh, well, thank you, Vexbite. Thanks you for joining us. I've been making a spice cookie. The spice cookie is what you see up here. Here, I'll swap it over so you can see them. This was one of my grandmother's recipes. It's pretty vague, so I've had to take some liberties with it to make it work. Because there was no time, temperature, or what spices to use. It does sort of seem like somewhere between a ginger snap and gingerbread. Cookies are your kryptonite? I mean, if you look at me, you can probably tell they're mine too. Yet I go on week after week and make some more. All right. Put those like that. What's your favorite cookie, Vexbite? Or what's anybody's favorite cookie? I've made some that I think are people's favorites. I've made peanut butter cookies. I've made oatmeal raisin cookies. I've made those maple oatmeal cookies, and those will probably come back because I wasn't really super happy with them. And I've acquired a few things that I'm going to try to make those better. White chocolate macadamia. That's not a... You know, I've had those. I've only had those, like, with some kind of pre-made dough at, like, some kind of booth. That's what I did, Zab, the first time, was the peanut butter cookie with the fork imprint on top. Are you talking about, like, real sugar cookies, or are you talking about those weird soft ones that are frosted? Because those kind of freak me out. They're like weirdly cakey. My favorite, though... Oh, no, not the frosted ones. Okay. There was a grocery store where I grew up, and they made a good sugar cookie. At Christmas, they would make green ones and put sprinkles on them, and they were Christmas trees. You know, I like a snickerdoodle, but I have never made those, and I'm probably going to visit those soon. That was not something I grew up with, though. I only ever found them later in life. And Shy Ceratops, thank you for coming in. I always want to say Shay. Or was it Shay Ceratops? I'm terrible. I can't remember anything. Okay, we got about 5 minutes on those. I could probably... take this pan And to bring back this roll that I have. Yeah, I want to ask y'all, because I'm not sure what to do for emotes. This Coke, are those the ones from New Mexico? Yeah, somebody gave me those. Somebody gave me a recipe for those, and I plan on making them soon. The one thing, though, I don't super love about them is they call for anise, and I don't super love anise. Yeah, I'm trying to think of, like, you know, what I should, you know, I'm using something that Jason created as my logo, and I'm trying to decide if I should stay with that or do something else. I definitely want to get some emotes, because I know the communities love that sort of thing here on Twitch. And, you know, as some of y'all may know, I just sort of threw this together one day after I took a wild hair. You think I should get a waving but me instead of Bowser? All right. One's pretty narrow. This stuff is very sticky, as you can probably tell from looking at this paper. This is parchment paper, by the way. Okay, those were in 12 minutes. I'll set these over here for the moment. Dry my hands off. Turn that off, because nobody needs to hear that. I kind of miss when they had a buzzer. All right. I'm going to leave them in for a minute. I don't think those are quite ready. All right. So we'll put these back here. I got a little bit here. barely enough there. Maybe I should just push these out a little. Hey ADSK, how are you? And for anyone I haven't caught, welcome in. When I get cooking, I don't pay as much attention as I should to the chat. I think I'm just going to push this onto that. Zab is a chick magnet. It's funny because most of my life I was a nobody magnet. All right. I'm going to make sure I don't push these too long. So I think I'll take these out. Yeah, those look better. And I'll put these back here. And we will do this. So I've been sprinkling sugar on top of these. Just a little. Yeah, I didn't get to read it. All right. Get some sugar on there. Maybe a little more than I need, but you know, that's okay. All right. Okay, so we're baking spice cookies. This was a recipe from my grandmother, but I have never seen these, tasted them. The recipe was pretty vague, so I don't even know, like, what they're supposed to taste like. But you can see them there. These are done. They sort of look like ginger snaps. Hey, Wappy the Wuggan. Thank you for coming. Thank you for raiding in. Welcome, raiders. I hope y'all are all having a good time. What we've been doing is I've made some spice cookies. And the spice cookies, let me just go to this so y'all can see it. And I can sit here. The spice cookie recipe is one of my grandmother's recipes, and it was very, very vague. I mean, it did give you a list of ingredients. In total, the instructions are 1 cup of brown sugar, half a cup of butter, 1 cup of molasses, 1 egg, beaten, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, spices, so it's up to you, I guess, to fill that in, and 4 cups of flour. Chill, roll, and cut. Well, I'm sure, you know, this recipe was just for her. It wasn't for everyone else, right? it was just enough for her to figure out what it was she needed. This is the dough I made earlier. And what you do is you let this chill and then you roll it into a log and slice them off. So, you know, these today are you know, through the magic of having made this dough yesterday. Well, you know, I've said on here more than once, I'm sure, that my mom was famous for telling me, you know, do something till it looks right. And I still haven't figured out what that means exactly. But it's funny because I am sort of that way with my own cooking. Take these off the rack here. Or take them off the pan. I'm going to snooze that for a minute. Yeah, so these are pretty good. I've liked them, but I might have should have amped up the spice. I mean, I think they're good enough, but they're not. I don't think any one spice wins out. You can taste that there's ginger in it. You can taste that there's cinnamon. There's the most cinnamon in it. I'm not sure if you can pull out the nutmeg or not, but I didn't really want it to totally pull out. And I need another rack. These are my little racks that I can just join together. I think they're going to kind of have the snap a ginger snap has when they cool, but they're not as gingery as a ginger snap. Okay. Well, Waffy the Wolgan, thanks for raiding in, and go do whatever you need to do. It's fine to raid and run. I usually do that sometimes myself. So I hope your dinner's great. I know how it can be to cook and have your attention divided. Yeah, you should give them a shout out for me, Jay Fries, if you can. Oh, I didn't set a timer. Let me take a look at them. Yeah, I think they could probably use... I'll take a look at them in 8 minutes. Oh, thank you. How cool are these? They still need some time. I always wonder, you know, it's funny, I don't super think about what I'm going to do next week until pretty close to it. So I'm sitting here thinking about what is it that I should do next time. I've been doing pretty typically cookies on this during the week thing. Just because they're sort of manageable. On a stream, they don't take a super long time to bake. Everybody sort of likes them. I'm sure I'm going to say that, and there's somebody out there that doesn't like cookies. And if you're one of those people and you're here, I'm glad, because I will eat them for you. Well, I mean, seriously. But I like to share these. I don't know that anyone's going to actually make any of these recipes. But what I'm trying to show is that realistically, they're not that hard, right? This one is a little more involved because it has sort of multiple steps. You have to mix up the dough and chill it, and then you have to roll it into a log and then chill it some more. And then you slice them and cook them on the pan. But the great thing about this is you can do a lot of it ahead. And if you wanted to, you could have, it made this one really big log, and I split it in half. And if you wanted to, you could take one of those logs and put it in the freezer, and just pull it out the day you need them. And you could probably keep one of those logs in the freezer if you wrapped it well, for, I don't know, at least a month. So you could make a bunch of this dough, roll it into logs, wrap it tightly, and I would use probably plastic, and then put those into a Ziploc bag. And then one weekend closer to Christmas, you could pull these out, or whatever holiday season you take, and everybody would probably love them. Let's got some more time on that. These have had a little time to cool. I'm gonna take one from over here. That's had a little time to cool. Oh yeah. They're a little crunchy on the outside, and the soft is chewy and a little damp. Not really damp, but moist. Well, I only ever want to hear the word moist in reference to food. Thank you. A moist cookie, a moist cake, chicken that is moist when you cut into it. It's funny sometimes because we're in Florida and it's very humid here. So sometimes I'll describe this as a moist hole. But these are really good, and you don't really, there's molasses in them and you can tell, but it's not bitter at all. These are really good. ADSK, what kind of cookies do you like? I know I asked that already. No, I don't want to mute you, Zab. It's fine. I like everybody who comes here as long as they're nice to other people. You don't even have to speak if you don't want to. I mean, I will say that it helps when people do chat a little bit because it gives me something to sort of talk with. But I'm sorry if I've made some people upset with the word moist. A Nutella and chocolate muffin. Damn, that sounds good. I haven't ever had anything like that. Nutella is really good. Although the Nutella we get in the US is not probably as good as it is out there. Horsey. That little emote he used is from his stream, J-Fry's stream. And it came from some game. And when I saw it, I said, that looks like a dog. But yeah, I think these turned out pretty good. I don't think I'd want them all year, but in this sort of cooler part of the year, I think they're nice. Oh. I'll give them another minute. But as to what I might do next week, I think we may revisit that maple oatmeal cookie. Salted caramel and dark chocolate. I like dark chocolate. I'll eat a macadamia and white chocolate one, but they're never what I... Oh, well, thank you so much, Rhino Assault. That's so sweet of you. Thank you so much. That really helps my channel. Those people really appreciate it too, so thank you for doing that. What I was saying is I was probably going to revisit that maple oatmeal cookie that I wasn't super happy with. Thank you, Girl Bye. Who's Girl Bye? Did I miss that? I must have missed that. Well, welcome in anyway. All right. So let's put this over here. So I have a place to put the ones that come off the pan. And I'll probably push, well, I won't. I'll just sort of push that one over and put that one in there. Oh, okay. I just didn't know your handle had changed. All right, let's see if these are close. Yeah, I think they're good. I think they are. Yeah, I think those are all right. But we'll see. Yeah, I think those are fine. So I'll show you those that have come out. This is the last tray of them I have, and so this is the little funny cookie where I pressed some bit together. I put a little sugar on it, but it seems to have sort of dissolved into some of them. But it would have sweetened up the top and helped it crisp. Let's see if I can get one of these off. Well, let me wipe this off. They do taste good, ADSK. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you for coming in because I do appreciate it. Hope wherever you are that you eat something good. All right, so I'll pull these off the tray. That's the little funny cookie. Up. Let's move some of these and put these here. So I would say I thought this batch was going to make more of these, but if I'd gotten the dough colder, it probably would have worked out better. And maybe what I should do is get some floss to cut them, because they are not super easy to cut with a knife. They smush and the dough is very sticky. In fact, I would almost use a little flour, maybe, or some confectioner's sugar, when you roll it. But you're not having to roll it out like into a flat piece. You're just rolling it into a log to slice later. But these look pretty good. Here, I'll do this. And we've eaten a couple of these. But that's what we have out of this recipe. And if I could have sliced them a little thinner, I would have gotten more out. Or if I'd made the log a thinner diameter. But I did not follow the instructions that said chill, roll, and cut, which were my grandmother's instructions. I tried to roll them when the dough was fresh. But it's sort of reminiscent of like a ginger snap or gingerbread. but they're good. They have a lovely texture. They have a lovely spiced flavor, but none of it is too spiced. You know, I've never made a gingerbread house. I've never been like a decorator. I've never been like, I'll make a cake, but defrosting is never a super great job because I just don't have the patience for some of that fiddly work. Like, I was looking at a butter cookie recipe, and then it said, you know, to put it into a pastry bag and squeeze them out on the pan, and I'm thinking, I don't think I want to bother with that. No, I don't think I did say that. I kind of think I said, ew. Why would you want a Cheez-It house? And why would you want a gingerbread house? Because I always just assume people make those and never eat them. And it just seems kind of like a waste to me. But I could probably make some. But if I made a gingerbread house, it wouldn't be very... Yeah, we saw in the grocery store a kit for a Cheez-It house. A Cheez-It bread house is I think what it said. Like there were the other packages of, store-bought gingerbread house kits. And I could certainly take like this dough, and I think it would work as a structure. I just don't know how I would cut it, roll it out and cut it because it's so thick. I don't know that I could get I don't know if I could get a gingerbread cutter with that much of a belly. Like, I don't think I have anything like that. I do have a gingerbread man cutter. I think this dough would work, but I would want probably to make it a little stiffer. All right. So for any of y'all who didn't catch it when I said it, the instructions I had for these cookies was 1 cup of brown sugar, half a cup of butter, 1 cup of molasses, 1 egg beaten, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, spices, which it doesn't say which ones, 4 cups of flour, and chill, roll, and cut. Those are the instructions you get. So in the assumptions, I've cooked these at 350 because it's just sort of safe temperature to bake anything at, pretty much. I went with light brown sugar since we had a cup of molasses in it. Molasses is what makes brown sugar brown. So if you use like dark brown sugar, that's going to give you more of a molasses flavor. But since we have a cup of molasses in this, I didn't really see the need for dark brown sugar. I didn't actually beat the egg because I made this with a hand mixer. And for the spices, I chose 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, about 1.5 teaspoons of ginger, maybe 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg that was freshly grated, and about 1/8 teaspoon of clove. Yeah, I did not think that the Cheez-It house was a good idea. And I did not say I wanted to get it. I think I actually was pretty revolted at the idea of a Cheez-It gingerbread house. Hey, Dota Q. I've been making these spice cookies. That was a recipe from my grandmother. It didn't tell me what spices to use. So I put in 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, a teaspoon and a half of ginger, about a quarter teaspoon of nutmeg, and about an eighth of a teaspoon of clove. The instructions were pretty light, so I chose to bake them at 350. They do sort of look like ginger snaps. Well, some of them do. Some of them don't crack as much. But they have a lovely texture. They're sort of reminiscent of gingerbread or ginger snaps, but there's probably not enough ginger in them for that. They are tasty. I would make these again. Now, I did pull a trick on everybody because I mixed the dough up at the beginning of the stream and put it in the refrigerator to chill. But I had made this dough actually yesterday, so I could roll it up into the log and slice them off. Because with this dough, you chill it, and then you roll it. Although I rolled it before it was chilled, and that was a mistake. And then you just slice them off. And they all came out a little misshapen because the slicing didn't work well. So I think I would get some some unwaxed floss and try cutting them with that. But I don't have any of that right now. But yes, they are tasty. Here, I'll get one that's a little on. I'll get maybe this one. And you can see they sort of are stiff on the outside and moist on the inside. I assume you could hear the chewing of the crunchiness there. So I'm pretty happy with them. They worked out. I mean, they're a little bit more of a pain than some so this is a refrigerate and slice cookie. And you know what's great about these is you can make the dough in advance and then slice them off and bake them when you're ready for them. Or you could freeze them. You could freeze the logs if you wrapped them tight in plastic wrap. Oh, well, Pope, thank you. I like cookies too. That's why every Tuesday I'm pretty much making cookies or some sort of baked good. So far it's been cookies. Yes, the bananas, I'm probably going to make banana bread. And, but I chose to make these cookies tonight instead of making banana bread on stream. I didn't really want to do 2 things in one evening. But they came out really nice. And when I post the video, so I'll upload this video to, I've done peanut butter cookies. No, these are not peanut butter cookies. These are spice cookies. They are sort of reminiscent of a sort of soft ginger snap or a gingerbread cookie, but they're not that high in ginger. I think cinnamon probably comes through more than ginger. I did do peanut butter cookies. That was my first stream. Or my second. It might have been my second. It was either my first or my second stream. You know, I didn't think about that. If I had made them a little thinner and smaller around, I think I would probably be wanting to do that. And if I could figure out how to do that, I might. I know the exact type of cookie you're talking about. And it does have good flavor for that. And if you did these thinner, they would be a little crisper. But they're very good. And actually, I think if I did this again, and I may take the dough that I made earlier, and well, I don't know if I can mix anything into it. but I almost think these could take a little bit of black pepper. Sometimes in a spice cookie, they do put black pepper in it. I didn't do that this time. And they come out really good. I have never made homemade pasta. My understanding is it's not too hard, but I have never tried. Probably just because I thought it would be too much of a mess. And I've, been pretty happy in my life with dried pasta. But I think at this point, I've made all the cookies. So I think I should probably find someone to raid tonight. So let's see who we've got out there. So if somebody I know is there. Oh, Book Slap. Thank you for raiding in. I was actually looking to raid out. So, that's the way it goes. But thank you for coming. Oh, and Andy Bundy too. I'll hang around a little longer then. Welcome in, Raiders. Thank you for coming in. I really do appreciate it. I've been making spice cookies tonight. This was one of my grandmother's recipe. And they have come out pretty well. This is a sort of what you'd call a refrigerator cookie, which is where you make the dough and chill it and roll it into a log, and then you slice the log. And, well, thank you. Thank you for rating me. I really do appreciate it, Book Slap and Andy Bundy. I know y'all were cooking something. What were y'all making? These cookies are pretty good. They're one of my grandmother's recipes. The recipe was pretty vague. You were playing Overcooked too. Okay. So these take a cup of brown sugar, half a cup of butter, a cup of molasses, an egg, a teaspoon of baking soda, 4 cups of flour, and it just says spices. So what I went with was 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, a teaspoon and a half of ginger, a quarter teaspoon of nutmeg, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of cloves. These are from dough that I made yesterday because they do have to chill, and then you roll them into the log and slice them. These sort of have a ginger snap sort of texture and taste, but they do not have enough ginger to be that. And this is one I had opened up earlier. They're very crisp around the edge. But I really do appreciate y'all rating in. If you haven't followed Andy or Book Slap, y'all should. They're both great streamers. They are game streamers. Oh, that's fine, Book Slap. And in fact, I should mention it because I haven't mentioned it this stream. I do have this set up so that if you follow, it doesn't really make indication that you have. I, of course, know that you did. But I know, like, some people don't like to be called out in stream, and some people just want to watch it and not say anything, and that's totally fine with me. And I want this to be a comfortable space, safe space for everyone. And I've been sort of talking about what I was going to do probably next week. So on Saturday, I usually cook dinner, And that's, you know, I'm making whatever we're having for dinner that week or that night. And then on Tuesdays, I usually I've been baking cookies. I may do like some other kind of baked good, but it's probably going to be mostly baking on Tuesdays. And, you know, occasionally if I feel like it, I do another stream. And I've really enjoyed this. I think the community's been great. And I appreciate everyone who comes into my stream, every follow, you know, even the people that subscribe, but I would never ask it of anyone to do that for me. I just love having community here. And this is one of the reasons I did this instead of like a YouTube video. So next week, I'm probably going to work on a maple oatmeal cookie that I tried before. And I wasn't super happy with the way it came out. But these have been pretty good. Like, I would give these to people as a gift. So if I would do that, I think it's a pretty good cookie. And I will, of course, post the video of this to YouTube, and I will post the recipe on my Discord, and hopefully that's the correct Discord. If Mix It Up will take it. Am I not logged into it? Yeah, I am logged into it. Let's see if that one works. That one check marked. Oh, it doesn't like. This seems to happen to me some. I'm going to make some of those at some point. However, I'm probably not going to make them the way people want. Because I'm having the same problem with the Stream Deck. It's not liking me. Let me look up my commands. Let me try playing it. If I go and I test it from Mix It Up, it seems to work. So that's my Discord. That link should be updated. Hey, Pass. And that should be my link tree. And there you can find the YouTube channel for this and my Facebook and Instagram. I think it might have a link for Discord too, but then I think it might not work. No, I don't want to go from Mix It Up. But I don't understand why Mix It Up wasn't doing it for my Stream Deck. So that's something I'll just have to fix. All right. Well, thank you for everyone who rated in tonight, everyone who followed. Rhino Assault gave out some gift subs, and I really appreciate that. Like I said, I love having all of you here. And if you didn't get a look at them, these are the spice cookies I made. But I am probably going to raid out now. So let me see if I can find someone that looks like I'd want to raid. Oh. Something happened, but I didn't see it. Oh, well, thank you for subscribing. Thank you, Pass. I really do appreciate it. All right. That's so sweet of you. I think we'll raid the Alimo who's making chocolate cake. So yeah, we're gonna do that. Again, thanks for all of the support you've given me. I really do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. It makes it so much easier to set up and plan these things. And I love sharing these recipes with you. Otherwise, they'd probably die with me. So, because well, I mean, I have some stepkids, but I'm not sure how interested they are in these. So I just really want to share, good food with everyone, and show everyone that it's not, food doesn't have to be super difficult. And, yeah, like I've sort of fought myself on it. Like I wanted the recipe to be available, but if I ever wanted to make a cookbook someday, I've put them all out there. So I don't know if that's good or bad. And like I said, I just want to make, food accessible. I mean, these are a little harder than some of the cookies I've done because you don't just mix them up and bake them. But that being said, that you can make them probably up to a week in advance and have that dough hanging out in your fridge and just roll it out and slice it when you're ready. I drizzled a little sugar over the top of these. I'm not sure if that made a huge difference in